The NFL draft is rapidly approaching, and I have yet to do a mock draft. So today we're going to do a 32 team first round mock draft. Let's get into it. So the Bears start with the first overall pick. It's the Commanders, not the Commanders, it's the Panthers pick. But because of the Bryce Young trade, the Bears have it now, and I don't think there's any doubt that the Bears are going to take Caleb Williams after trading away Justin Fields. He's going to be their, hopefully, franchise quarterback. He has his doubters, he has his haters, but he's probably going to be that guy for Chicago. Maybe not a fantastic player. Well, he's been quite good in college. I'll say he did win the Heisman. But maybe he falters in the NFL. The Bears 100% are going to take him first overall. They don't really have a quarterback. You can say that also for the Commanders here. The Commanders have Sam Howell, and that's pretty much it. I think they signed Marcus Mariota also, but Sam Howell, I think he was pretty good last year, except for his interceptions. He had like way too many. So I think they'll probably draft a quarterback here, unless they want to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. and trust Sam Howell. But I think they will go with the QB. They could take Jaden Daniels from LSU, who just won the Heisman this year, or they could take Drake May from North Carolina, who is pretty young and he's very good. But after their most recent experience with a North Carolina quarterback, I think they're going to go with a trusted Jaden Daniels, who is awarded, and I think he's a bit more proven at this point. That takes us to pick 3, the Patriots, who also need a quarterback pretty badly. They have Mac Jones, but you don't really want to play Mac Jones. Drake May is right here. He could have gone first overall last year. You're taking him third overall this year. I think that'll be a great pick for them. Now we have the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals could take Marvin Harrison Jr. They could take a lineman. I think they're going to take Marvin Harrison Jr. They don't really have any other receivers. And frankly, pick 5, where the Chargers are, they don't have anybody either. Malik Neighbors is right here from LSU, and he has been quite good. He's been a 2-year starter. Played with Jaden Daniels, which helped him, but he's also, quite a good player, and he will definitely bolster the Chargers' offense, and that's why they're going to take him at pick 5. The Giants have pick 6. They need receiver, corner, running back, tackle. I could see them taking Joe Alt here, or maybe even Olufashanu. They could also take Roma Dunze. It would be a bit of a reach, which is why they could make a bit of a trade here. I could see a team like the Vikings or the Broncos trade up for JJ McCarthy, although I don't think McCarthy's anything special. We have seen him play very limited. Well, he's played a lot of snaps. We have seen him throw the ball very limited amount of times, but teams are so quarterback desperate. I could see someone trade up for him. But for now, I think the Giants might just go ahead and take Roma Dunze here at pick 6. It might be a little bit of a reach, but to get a receiver 1, I think they could definitely do it. Now the Titans are going to take Joe Alt. Joe Alt is the best tackle in the class, followed closely by Olufashanu, but he is the best tackle in the class. And he seems like a pretty good fit with the Titans. Gonna be another highly drafted player for them on the O-line. Although their offensive line isn't that great. He seems like a good fit in Nashville. Next is the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons really need an edge rusher. They also need corner. I could definitely see them taking Dallas Turner here, or Terrion Arnold. But I could also see the Vikings or Broncos trade up here, or even the Raiders. All three of these teams need a quarterback pretty badly. I could see any of them trading up here with the Falcons for McCarthy. Would that happen though? Would they really do that? I think the reason JJ McCarthy is desired is because he's young. He has a lot of potential, even though he's not super proven. So I think the Broncos might actually want to make a trade here, jumping from 12 to 8. We'll see if we can do that. Denver and Atlanta. Denver throws in their 12th pick for the 8th pick. They'll also throw in a couple late round picks. And then, say a third next year. We'll see if that goes through. For pick 8. Rejected. Okay. They're probably going to be persistent, though. Try one more time. 12 for 8. Throw in... Let's try the second next year and pick 145. Rejected, really? That's interesting. I don't know how much... I mean, 4 spots is not that much. It's not that far. Pick 121, a second, and another late round pick this year. Rejected again? Maybe the Falcons just aren't going to trade their pick. Pick 8 for 12. I don't totally know what a fair trade would look like here. Maybe they throw in 121 and a second next year for pick 8. Rejected again. Okay, so I think the Falcons might just not trade this pick away. And with that information, I feel like Dallas Turner would be a good fit. He's young, he's solid, he went to Bama. I mean, most guys out of Bama are going to be good. And off the edge, I think Dallas Turner could be the pick at number 8 for the Falcons. Now the Bears. The Bears, I think, also could trade their pick. Or they could stay with it. They could stick with it and draft Olufoshanu. Or they could take Brock Bowers. At pick 9, I don't totally know what their offensive line looks like. I don't have a great idea of that. Let me see what NFL.com says they need. Chicago Bears. Quarterback, which we already addressed. Receiver, O-line, and D-line. Okay, well, they took Caleb Williams. The next receiver on the board is pretty far down at pick 20, Brian Thomas Jr. But they also need offensive line. And Olufoshanu is a fantastic O-lineman. Plays tackle out of Penn State. I believe he won some awards, like Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year. I could be wrong, though. I feel like I heard that. Olufoshanu for Chicago. I feel like that could be a pretty solid pick. Help them protect their quarterback. And it would be a bit of a reach for them to take a receiver here. But Olufoshanu, very solid player overall, going at pick 9. Now the Jets at pick 10. The Jets have just traded away, what's his name? The Jets just traded away Zach Wilson. Traded him to the Broncos. He's definitely not a fix for the Broncos. The Broncos will be taking a quarterback. But because the Vikings, neither the Vikings nor the Broncos took a quarterback here, I think they could definitely bring in JJ McCarthy. They could bring him in. He'll be there for a couple of years. They'll see what they have with him because he's young and he's unproven. And I think he could be a solid guy to take over once Aaron Rodgers retires, assuming that the Jets program, association, organization, whatever, sees what they want out of him. So they could definitely take JJ McCarthy here. They could also take Brock Bowers. I think either of those players would be solid picks for them. Or they could reach a little bit, maybe take Telice Fuaga. I think those, maybe they go for Troy Fautanu or Maris Mims, but I think I might go ahead and take JJ McCarthy and shake things up a little bit. Now the Vikings are here. The Vikings desperately need quarterback, and the next two on the board are Michael Penix and Bo Nix, who are both solid guys, but they're old, grandpa age. And I think they might go with Bo Nix because he doesn't have that injury history. These are very similar prospects, but they've had very different careers so far throughout college. Penix took his team to the national championship game this past year, but Bo Nix was very solid these past 2 years, and in the right scheme, he can play very, very well. Although we saw at Auburn, he did not play very, very well. He could go to the Vikings. It'll be one of these two guys going to the Vikings, unless someone trades up to snag one of them before pick 11 and 12. But if I'm the Vikings, I am going to take Bo Nix because he does not have that injury history. He's pretty solid. He's mobile. 6'2", 215. He's a solid player in the right scheme. That leaves the Broncos with Penix. They're going to take him. It will be one of these two guys for the Broncos as long as they don't trade up, which I don't have them trading up here right now. He's 24, has a lot of injury history, but he's quarterback 5 in this draft class. 6, actually. 6. QB 6. I see him as QB 6, at least. Now, the Raiders are stuck. Raiders desperately need quarterback, and they aren't going to get one in the first round. So they also need O-line, running back, corner, D-tackle. They don't really need Brock Bowers, although whoever gets him, I mean, you're getting a stud. This kid is top 3 talent in the entire class, but because he plays a less desirable position, he won't get drafted as highly as he should. Raiders, they need offensive tackle. This is a stacked OT draft class, and Fuaga is sitting right here. 6'5", 325, very solid tackle out of Oregon State. He has a couple little things. He could definitely get drafted by the Raiders, though, at pick 13, as long as there aren't any quarterbacks left. So yeah, Fuaga to Vegas. Next is the Saints. The Saints need tackle, guard, D-line, and quarterback, but no quarterbacks. This is also a pretty good spot, I think, to take tackle or D-line. Troy Fautanu's here from Washington, Maris Mims, and J.C. Latham. 3 very solid tackles, sitting at 17, 18, and 19th on the draft board. Also, Latu is here. Jared Verse. Jared Verse might be the pick. 6'3", 250. He's had 2 very solid years at Florida State. But he will be a little bit old as a rookie. Troy Fautanu. Man, these are some big people. Just big people. 317 pounds. Troy Fautanu, I mean, he's been good. He also turns 24 this year. Maris Mims, he got injured this past season. Hasn't played a ton. He's gigantic. They measured him in at 6'8" at the combine. 340. Ridiculous. Pick 14 though. I think they might go with Jared Verse. Keep him pretty close. From Tallahassee to New Orleans. He's a very solid edge rusher. One of the best in this class. Behind Dallas Turner. Probably second best. I would take him. I see him as the second best edge rusher in the class. The Colts are at pick 15. They could definitely take Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers and the Colts, that would be a very good fit. Seeing as he plays like a receiver, he can also block though. And the Colts do need receiver pretty badly. They could also take corner. Terrion Arnold out of Bama. Pretty solid corner. He's young. 21. He's a solid corner. But the Colts, I think, will definitely take Brock Bowers. Best tight end in the class. Best tight end prospect in a long time. And to get him at pick 15 is crazy good value. Because, again, I see him as a top 3 talent at his position. Top 3 talent overall in the class at each player's respective positions. Pick 16 is held by the Seahawks. The Seahawks need O-line, linebacker, D-tackle, corner. O-line is the big issue for them. I think they could definitely take a tackle here. Troy Fautanu, Mims, or Latham. Or they could also reach just a little bit. It wouldn't be that big of a reach, actually. Take Johnny Newton, who I hear everyone say he's undersized. This man is 6'1", 304 pounds. This is a big person. He's not undersized. They could also take Byron Murphy here. 300 pounds, 6 foot. If you're gonna, you can't call Johnny Newton undersized at 6'1", 304, and then not call Byron Murphy undersized. He's smaller by an inch and 7 pounds. Little bit of a rant there. Anyway, Seahawks pick. They need line, like, really badly. I could see them reaching just a little bit and taking, probably not a guard. They could probably take Graham Barton here. 26th on the draft board. Just a tiny bit of a reach. Or they could take Jackson Powers Johnson, who's also pretty good. But with this tackle class, I mean, I don't know how you pass on one of those guys. Although, because it is so deep, I could see them trading away this pick to who should this pick get traded to? I'm thinking the Eagles. I think the Eagles could make a move here and trade up with the Seahawks for Terrion Arnold specifically. The Eagles have 2 second-round picks. They're going to try to jump 8 spots. I think you throw in pick 53 there in exchange for 118. That trade's rejected. Okay. Let's try again. Eagles, Seahawks. Pick 22 for 16. Throw in 53. How does it go? Accepted. Okay. Okay. I don't know if that was a good trade or not. But I see it as a good move for the Eagles, being able to jump up and take Terrion Arnold. The Seahawks are going to be able to get a good lineman at their spot now. And they also picked up a second-round pick. And this is a pretty deep class overall. A lot of good players are going to go in the second round. Especially linebacker. With pick 53, Edgerrin Cooper from A&M might still be there. Probably not. Hopefully not. As an A&M fan, I wish for him to get drafted highly. Probably won't make it to the first round though. Next team on the clock is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They need cornerback. Quayon Mitchell is the guy for them. He's the top cornerback on the board. And until Nate Wiggins at a slot 24, the draft board doesn't really matter that much. It doesn't really matter that much. although it's there to give you like a solid idea. Now, the Bengals at pick 18. The Bengals could take a defensive tackle. I don't think they take a receiver here. The receiving room is pretty solid still. They could take D tackle or offensive tackle, but I think they go ahead. They're going to take Johnny Newton out of Illinois, who is very good. He's very mobile for his size. He can probably get a little bit bigger. It says defensive tackle. I'm not sure if that means nose tackle. There need to be more like positions. I mean, there needs to be more specification of the positions because Newton, I don't know. Does Newton play nose tackle? Do the Bengals need, I don't know, other tackle? I don't know. I think he would work though in Cincinnati. I could say the same thing for Byron Murphy. But also they could take Amarius Mims out of Georgia. Gigantic person. J.C. Latham out of Bama. Help out their offensive line. Keep Joe Burrow healthy, ideally. I think J.C. Latham, 6'5", 350. I mean, goodness, just gigantic person. Good energy, good size. If you're the Bengals and you're in this position, I think you're gonna win with most picks here. Troy Fautanu, how old is he? He's 24 in his rookie year. I think it's a bit of a setback. Amarius Mims, because of his injury history, I think might get passed up here. Even though it was just this year, I think Latham is probably going to be the pick at pick 18 for the Bengals. They're going to take J.C. Latham from Bama. Now, if you're the Rams, I think this has fallen pretty perfectly almost. And you're going to be able to take Leatu Latu, who is a very good edge rusher. He has been in his past 2 years at UCLA. But because of his injury history, and he literally had to medically retire, it will push him down the draft board. I don't know how far. I think he'd fit with the Rams. The Rams need edge rusher. He's a hometown guy. I don't know if he's a hometown guy. He went to UCLA, though. I don't know where he's originally from. Seems like a good fit. On paper, at least. Now, the Steelers. Steelers need tackle, center, corner, safety. And Cooper DeJean, he plays corner and safety. Just a DB hybrid. I would be very intrigued by that. But also, I want to see what NFL.com says the Steelers need. O-line. Okay, O-line's top need for Steelers. Cornerback can be addressed later, I think. Yeah, there's some solid corners later. Safeties, same thing. Fautanu and Mims. Fautanu played in the national championship last year. Patient. He's fast. Good hands. Good hands are important. I like to look at the player info, sort of a little bit scouting stuff by other people for the O-linemen, because I like to say all of these guys play in college at least once, at least one snap. I think I have. I watch more college football than 98% of the population. This channel is primarily based around college football, but I do watch the NFL. I like the NFL. I'm a Texans fan. We don't have a first round pick. There's not going to be any bias here or anything. I'd like to say I think I've watched almost all of these guys play at least one snap. I've seen some highlights, but it's tough with O-line because they aren't the ones who are making big plays. They aren't the ones who are making the scoring plays where everyone's looking. Um, so I need a little bit more to gauge them. Troy Fatanu, besides for his age, I mean, O-lineman can play for decades. I mean, 24 is not that old. I mean, sometimes you see guys at 21 or something crazy happens, 20. Can that happen? They could play at 18, they could play at 19, maybe 20. I haven't seen a 20-year-old in this draft class though. Troy Fatanu, I'm gonna say goes to the Steelers, although I could also see them taking Cooper DeJean or maybe Nate Wiggins, but offensive tackle seems to be a bigger need. Offensive line, which more general. Fatanu at 20 to the Steelers. Pick 21 to the Dolphins. Now, Bo Nix and Michael Penix, they're either going to go at pick 11 or 12, or they're going to fall to the second round. I feel like there's no in between there. Except at this pick, maybe, if Nix or Penix are here at pick 21, I could see the Dolphins picking one of them up just to see what happens, how they compete, how they play as experienced players already. I don't think either of them are going to be that great in the pros, both Penix or Nix. Just because, well, I don't really have a great because. I just don't have that good feeling. Frankly, I haven't seen Drake May play enough to say anything about him like that. I've already talked about JJ McCarthy. But Bo Nix and Michael Penix, I feel like they're very similar prospects overall. I feel like they could have very, very different careers. I'm very curious to see how they play out. And if one of them are here when the Dolphins pick, I think they could take them. But they are not. And the Dolphins need guard, tackle on both sides, receiver, corner. Amaris Mims is sitting right there. But so is Johnny Newton. So is Byron Murphy. Amaris, let's see what NFL.com thinks about Miami's needs. O-line, D-line, tight end. Interesting. They could take... I'm not too familiar with Miami's offensive line. They could take Graham Barton or JPJ. Graham Barton, I feel like he's going to be a solid pro player on the inside. Might not play center like he did in college. I think actually in college he played left tackle in college at Duke. This just has him listed as a center for some reason. I don't totally get that. The Dolphins at pick, what are we, 21? Yeah, at pick 21. They could take Amaris Mims. They could do that. And I think that's what they will do at pick 21. Maybe not the best pick, but it should address a position of need for them pretty soon. Let me see what Amaris Mims looks like as a prospect from here. Mims. Okay, he's a junior, so he is young. And does it say what injury that was? An ankle injury, okay. Just only 8 career starts. That's a little bit scary. That's a little bit scary. But according to Next Gen Stats or whatever, he's a good prospect. Started within 2 years. I mean, he's just gigantic. There's no getting around him. Did not partake at the combine. Oh, yeah, he did. I can't see. I can't talk. 5:07:40. That's solid. Faster than me. He's played in a lot of games. He just hasn't started that many. He had tightrope surgery. But he played in the last 3 regular season games. He was a finalist for a top alignment. Okay, okay. That's not an awful pick. Seahawks now at pick 22. I think they traded down. They made a good move. They're going to take Graham Barton to start for them at center year one. Could be good. I like him. This has him listed at center. I know he played tackle, though. He could move around. Let me see what his draft profile is. Okay, so he has played center and he's versatile. That's what I thought. Arm length is small, which could force him to move inside. Okay. So he should work on the IOL in Seattle. That's a good pick for them, I think. Good trade down by them as well. Now the Vikings have addressed their quarterback need, hopefully. They still need D tackle, and you have the two best D tackles in the class still on the board here, Johnny Newton and Byron Murphy. If I am the Vikings, who am I taking though? Let's take a look at their combines. M-U-R Murphy? Byron Murphy. There are 4 Murphys in this class. Go started within 2 years. 6.5 almost grade. What does that translate to? Boom or bust potential. Interesting. Pretty quick. Did he 28 bench reps? Okay, from DeSoto. I didn't know he was from DeSoto. And then Johnny Newton. Johnny. What did he bench? Did not partake of the draft. Okay, if you're still watching, we are 32 minutes in. If you're still watching, please, and please tell me why guys do not partake at the combine. I get it, whatever, I don't need the combine to prove myself. But, like, just go to the combine. It's not gonna, well, you know what, it could hurt the potential. Okay. After further thought, I have decided to understand. First team All-American this past season. Did not know that. He's a Nagurski finalist for the top defender. 7.5 sacks as a D tackle is really good. 4 blocked kicks too. Wow, I did not know that. 12 games, 11 starts. Forced fumble. I like those numbers. I'm going to say the Vikings draft him at pick 23. So they take Bo Nix and Johnny Newton. That's a very good draft for them. I don't know. I like that pick for the Texans too. If we hadn't traded that away to the Vikings, I'd be happy with that. But, already happened. We got Stephon Diggs going all in. Unlike the Cowboys, who need offensive line, linebacker, running back, D tackle. I think Byron Murphy from Texas feels like a pretty solid fit. Tyler Guyton out of OU. He's still there. So is Jackson Powers Johnson. I did not realize JPJ was 21. Interesting. Okay, so either here they take Byron Murphy pretty much, or they take a lineman. They might want to just go ahead and take a lineman here. Although Byron Murphy, he's pretty high on the board. Where is their next pick? They pick 56, pick 78, 87, excuse me. D tackle. There will be some tackles available then, probably. How about there will be guards. I like Tanner Bordeloni out of Wisconsin, by the way. I like offensive lineman from UW. If they really want to, they could trade up for a tackle later. Wait, what did I say the next pick was? 56. Yeah, there will probably be another tackle at pick 56. I'm going to say they're going to draft Byron Murphy at pick 24. So both these tackles go off the board back to back. Murphy, just next solid D tackle. I'm not really going to say a lot about him or the school he came from, although I certainly could. Yeah. Packers, linebacker, corner. What does this say the Packers need? I trust this more than I do. Sorry, PFN. I really appreciate PFN. PFN is not charging me a dime, unlike other websites I've tried to use. They're not charging me anything. They have solid scouting snippets. Actually, they're pretty in depth. I appreciate them with the amount of effort they put into this, keeping it free. Very happy with PFN and their efforts here. Anyway, what was I doing? Oh, I was checking what the Packers actually needed. Green Bay Packers. D-line, linebacker, O-line corner. Well, they could take Chop Robinson out of Penn State. Let me see what the Packers actually look like on the edge. So after taking a couple looks at the Packers roster, I'm gonna go ahead and draft them Cooper DeJean. They could definitely use some help at the corner position. It says Cooper DeJean plays safety, kind of plays both. And him not going before pick 25 seems a little bit crazy to me. Very solid guy, kick return, punt return, whatever. Feels like a good fit in a Packers jersey. Pick 26 goes to the Bucks. Bucks need edge pretty badly, and they're very lucky because Chop Robinson has fallen to pick 26. Maniacal energy is crazy. Still has some flaws, but for Penn State, he's been pretty good. I'm sure they've been glad to have him. He's gonna get drafted pick 26 to the Bucks. The Cardinals here have addressed the receiver need. There are not any great D tackles available, so third position of need is corner. They do kind of need corner. It is listed as their second need by info.com and their third by PFN. Nate Wiggins is right here. He is one of the best corners in the entire draft. Out of Clemson, quite good, I will say. But Kool-Aid McKinstry is also here. I feel like he's been a little bit disappointing. He's only had like 2 or 3 interceptions or something in the past couple years. I think Nate Wiggins is probably going to be the pick for the Cardinals at the 27th spot. The Bills at pick 28 are going to take Brian Thomas Jr. No question about that. Brian Thomas Jr. goes to the Bills. If they need to, they will trade up for him. They're not going to trade all the way up, I don't think, to the top 10 in order to get one of the top receivers. But Brian Thomas Jr., highly rated player, a very good player, who I think the Bills are going to highly target in this draft. Pick 29 goes to the Lions. The Lions need edge rusher. There aren't really any great edge rushers until you hit Darius Robinson. That would be a little bit of a reach, though. They also need corner. Kool-Aid McKinstry is here. The tackle, not really available right now. So I think they're going to go with best player available, and that being Kool-Aid McKinstry should work out in their favor. Even though I said he's not that great or whatever. He will go first round, no doubt in my mind. The Ravens need receiver pretty badly. They also need interior offensive line. So they could take Jackson Powers-Johnson. I would not be surprised with that pick at all. Or they could take A.D. Mitchell, or they could take Xavier Worthy. I think it's one of these three guys will go to the Ravens. Probably not Tyler Guyton. Let me take a look at their receiver room. Okay, so the receiving room does look a little bit thin, but also they lost. What did it say? They lost both their starting guards last year, so Jackson Powers-Johnson is going to be the pick at pick 30. He plays interior offensive line. He's very young. He's pretty solid from Oregon, and I think they go with him to help their offensive line instead of taking a receiver here. There are good receivers down the board a little bit farther, but can't quite say the same about IOL. So JPJ to the Ravens seems like a pretty good pick. The Niners, they need offensive tackle, and Tyler Guyton has fallen. He hasn't really fallen that far. He's here out of Oklahoma. Another gigantic person. Let me read his bio. Only started at right tackle for the Niners, or for Oklahoma, but there aren't a lot of negatives about him. He's been a solid guy for OU, and the Niners really need a tackle. They're going to take him at pick 31. And then at pick 32, the Chiefs are not going to take A.D. Mitchell or Xavier Worthy. They are going to take Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman, a jump ball guy. If you throw the ball near him, he will absorb it. He's like a vacuum cleaner with footballs. And he's kind of slow. He's a little bit slow. We're going to 4.61. Not his best day. Not his best day. But they need someone who can catch the ball. Keon Coleman's going to be that guy. Because we know he can catch the ball. Unlike other players on the Chiefs roster. So this is how I have my first round going down. Got 3 quarterbacks to start, 3 receivers to follow. Then a mix of things before we get 3 quarterbacks again. J.J. McCarthy to the Jets. Pretty interesting. Then we get a series of various picks. 2 corners. Tackles go from 18 to 21. Big run on tackles there. Latu goes to the Rams at pick 19. 2 interior offensive linemen go in the first round. Graham Barton and Jackson Powers-Johnson to the Seahawks and Ravens, respectively. Both the tackles go back-to-back picks. Cooper DeJean to the Packers. Brian Thomas Jr. to the Bills. Pretty solid draft here. I think there will be more than one trade happening. But I wanted to trade for something. Eagles to 16 for Terran Arnold. They could pick Quinyon Mitchell. These two could flip-flop 16 and 17. Quinyon Mitchell and Terran Arnold. But I think the Eagles take Terran Arnold over Mitchell. He has played against much better competition than Mitchell. Yeah. At this point, I'm kind of rambling. This is my final draft. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that sorts of stuff. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the draft. Even though my Texans don't have a pick in the first round, we'll make some moves in the second. We're gonna draft some good players, I think. Yeah. Very happy with this draft. And for the next one, thank you so much for watching. Peace.